What's up, friends? I am so excited to dive into Scorpio season. I am a Scorpio and it is my time. It is one of my favorite and most intense times of the year, with my sun sign being in Scorpio. Also in 2020, everything that we have going on, this is such a invitation into shadow work and to dive deep into the nature of our thoughts. And so today I'm going to talk a little bit about the Scorpio new moon and all of these energies that are swirling around astrologically and how we can work with them to enhance our spiritual growth and transformation. So, as some of you may remember or might have seen, our beautiful cat Saturn decided not to come home while we were on vacation. And he was gone for 9 days. And during those 9 days, I went through so many stages of emotions. And essentially, each day was like a step into the shadow work of Scorpio. And so Scorpio allows us to work with our initial reactions to situations and to see what's my default. Like, how do I always show up? And how do I always interact when I'm met with fear, or when I'm met with self-doubt, or when I'm met with jealousy or conflicting energy? Like, what's my default reaction? And for me, my reaction is problem solver mode. Like, I'm gonna figure this out, we're gonna find him. It's all this like fire energy of going out and reaching and grabbing for something and taking it. And what I'm learning through the art of manifestation is we don't actually have to reach or grab for anything. And if we're tuned into our intuition, a huge trait of Scorpio season, we're able to actually attract and draw things to us with our energy with ease. And I think where I was processing this was, I need to go look for him. I need to go out. I need to find where he is and pull him back because he is lost. And when I view something as lost, I'm never going to find it because vibrationally it's gone. And so my mind is not going to see or feel or become attracted to what it is that I'm looking for because I've labeled it as lost. And so throughout these 9 days, Saturn was lost. He was missing. There was something I needed to do. There was a lack. There was this energy I was putting out there that he was gone. But when I sat with myself and got still, the messages that came through was he wasn't gone. He's actually nearby. And not only nearby, but he's behind the house and to the left. And initially I thought, okay, that's well and good. I think he's behind the house and to the left, but where the fuck is he? I don't see him. Where did he go? And ultimately, this experience, each day built on the last, of starting to turn inwards and to start to begin to trust my intuition. Intuition is the biggest gift that Scorpio season teaches us to tap into. And intuition is not something that only a select few group of people have. We all are intuitive. But the thing is, intuition doesn't speak logically. It doesn't give us concrete steps. Sometimes intuition brings us from around the corner to across the street to behind the house to near the beach to back to the original place that I felt. And it doesn't always make sense, and it doesn't have to. But the goal here with Scorpio season is to start to trust the little inner knowers that say, when I get still, I know he's okay. I can feel that he's nearby. And I'm feeling, for whatever reason, behind the house to the left. And this is the energy of intuition. It's going to be soft and subtle. And it's not going to be a loud expression of the divine opening the door and saying, this is your path. This is where to go. But Scorpio season asks us to trust the gut instincts, to trust that little pull of energy to move us to the next step, because that little building block will then lead to the next thing, which leads to the next thing. And each door that opens, it gets easier and easier, and the doors just continue opening. And this is the thing. Through all of this, the first 6 days or so, I'm thinking that I'm powerless, that I've lost something that I cannot find, and that there's nothing I can do about it. And the truth is, although I can't manipulate anyone else's energy, that's part of law of manifestation, we actually can't manifest anything that has to do with someone else. What we can do is raise our vibration to call in what it is that we want for ourselves. And the act of Saturn coming home, it's not that it's just purely him, it's the feeling that he brings me. And so Scorpio season is about tapping into the energy and the power of things and being able to draw them out in the present moment to attract what you want in the future. And so I can't sit there and manifest that my cat will return, but I can raise my vibration to imagine what it would feel like when he does. And then even if he didn't return, to imagine that feeling of his comfort and his love and all of the qualities of him without him. And so Scorpio invites us into this present moment to tap into the power we all innately have and to recognize that everything that has happened in our lives, our shadows, the darkness, oftentimes trauma and pain and hurt, we have manifested for this growth. Scorpio, Spirit Daughter says Scorpio is a phoenix rising from the ashes. And we're rising from the ashes from the fire that we created ourselves. When everything is energy and everything is vibration, everything and every experience we have in our lives is rooted in growth and manifestation that we've actually called that experience in. And I called the disappearance of Saturn into my life for this awakening. And what I did was I sat on this porch across the street from a person who had a sighting of him. They called me on the phone from the flyers that I put around the neighborhood. And so part of Scorpio energy, there's fire, they're still taking steps and taking action, but it's not forcing or reaching, it's actually receiving whatever comes back to you after those actions. So I put the flyers up, I get a phone call for a tip, and it happens to be behind the house and to the left, around the corner. And so I sit on their porch, and I pray, and I close my eyes, and I psychically begin to communicate with my cat. Now, this was the first day that I just decided to allow things to be as they are, to trust him. And by trusting him, I allowed the situation to unfold with ease. And I think what was so beautiful was the realization that he ended up coming home that night. And it was the night that I surrendered control, but began to manipulate my energy to raise my vibration up so that I created a welcoming environment for him to return, because he's not lost. He's chosen to depart. And when my vibration matches his and when he's ready to reunite with me, then that union will happen. Now, this could be coincidental, but I don't feel that way. I feel that that energy shift of recognizing the power that I have, that I am not powerless. He has not slipped through any fingers or is missing or lost. No absence of lack. There is no lack. There's actually an abundance of power waiting for me to tap into it and to channel my power to raise my vibration and reach out and get what I know I deserve. Scorpio season is about clearing the hurt and the pain, to let it come up and out and to look at it with compassion and love. Scorpio is like this fierce, nurturing, unwavering self-love. To witness our shadows from the fires that we created ourselves. We sparked and manifested this pain to help us grow. And we're not powerless. We have an abundance of power, each one of us. And just by getting still and coming into the present moment, we're able to tap into that fire and tap into the intuition, tap into the inner knowers of what the next step is. Even this birth of this video started by a whisper. I thought I should go journal. And after a half hour of journaling, I should read. After 20 minutes of reading, I feel like I want to talk. I want to share this. And bam, this video was born. And so following my intuition has led me to things that might seem big or daunting or scary, like sitting down and recording this video, into small, manageable, bite-sized pieces of put one foot in front of the other. What feels good in this moment? What feels like it's going to nurture me and nourish my soul? What little inner knowers am I sensing and feeling in this present moment? And to follow that. And when we follow our intuition, we stay true to our authentic self. And when we're true to our authentic self, we never feel like we're betraying our time or betraying our spirit or betraying our heart, because each little step leads us exactly down the path we're meant to be. And so this Scorpio season, the qualities are trusting our intuition, practicing unwavering self-love, tapping into the fierce power that we have to manipulate energy around us, to raise our vibration, and to call in what we know we're worth. I hope that this video inspires you to believe in your power, your innate healing psychic power to call in whatever it is that you're seeking, and to allow yourself to move through those steps in the perfect divine timing that it takes. And just like Saturn returned after 9 days, it takes time. And so I'm working on this trust, this patience, reception, the water element of surrender, and also trusting the fire when shit hits the fan and it gets hard, to trust that there is something beautiful that is being born. Because when shit burns to the ground, that only leaves space for something beautiful to grow. So if we zoom out and just summarize Scorpio season, essentially it's tapping into our power and recognizing that we have power to change our lives, that we are constantly putting out energy and we only get back more of the same of what we put out there. If life is a big struggle and there's a lot of hurdles, to trust the transformation, but to also recognize that perhaps our energy is actually drawing that situation into our lives. Scorpio invites us to tap into the power that we have, to recognize we can manipulate energy. We can manipulate our power, and instead of being in a space of feeling disempowered and powerless, to tap into the energy of empowerment, that we are the creators of the fire. And by directing our energy, we're able to raise our vibration up to match whatever it is that we're calling in. And on the days that we're not feeling 100%, all of that is good and beautiful and fine, and Scorpio welcomes that energy. She nurtures it with unwavering self-love. Scorpio energy is about compassion and positive affirmations and intentions, and a strong drive to never waver off the course of what we view as rightfully ours to take. Scorpio invites us to not sell ourselves short, to rise up to the innate power that we have, and to reach out and claim what is rightfully ours to own. During this new moon, I'd love to share some practices, some embodied things that you can do to really harness Scorpio energy and tap into your power and manifest and manipulate your energy to call in the positive things that you want in your life. So one of the first things that we can do that is quite simple is just placing awareness around our reactions to thoughts, to other people, to situations. Scorpio is oftentimes given a bad rap, and I think that's when people who are Scorpios are acting out of their pain bodies, their shadow side, all the stuff that's been pressed down to the deepest, darkest depths. And this season asks us to illuminate it, to bring it up, to be willing to go there in a safe container. And so the first step is awareness. Where are my thoughts going? What am I thinking about? And just watching what the thoughts are. And we can journal on them. So if you take notes throughout the day in your phone or carrying a little journal, what energies do you feel your body moving through throughout the day? When someone says something that triggers what you view as anger, where does that live in your body? And to write these things down so that when you feel the body trigger and when you feel the embodiment of anger or pain or sadness, you can reflect, okay, I'm noticing the trigger. What's my normal reaction to that energy? Perhaps it's to retaliate or to lash out or to turn inwards and to shut down. And whatever the default is, shake it up. Try something else. Experience a new energy. What could replace that default reaction? And all of this happens in steps: awareness, reflection, noticing what we don't want, and then asking, what do we want? When I'm presented with a situation that makes me feel angry and my default is to shut down and to stay quiet, instead of doing that, what do I want? And we can go through each emotion: anger, sadness, resentment, jealousy, whatever emotions you're working with in your life right now, and journal. What do you normally do? What's your normal reaction? And that's one way. Another way is mantra or affirmation, to come up with a statement or a phrase that's in positive language that would create a vibrational shift for you. So what we want to be mindful of is if we're really struggling with our self-image or self-worth and feeling really useless and down and out, right? We can all get there. If we create an affirmation that says, I love myself, that's too high of a jump. It's really hard vibrationally to go from I hate myself to I love myself. And so when we craft intentions, we want to get slightly warmer. And just get used to that idea. What's an affirmation that's slightly warmer than where I was, that makes me feel just a little bit better? And when that affirmation starts to feel really comfortable and good and safe, pick a new one. Until we get from I hate myself, that's the old mantra, to I love myself. Take it in steps. And this affirmation taps into the loving, fierce goddess energy of Scorpio, the god and goddess energy that I have the power to create this shift. And small baby steps is what gets us there. One of the final things I'll close with is this relationship between the new moon and other planets in our solar system. So right now, the new moon is sextile with the planet Jupiter and Pluto in the sign of Capricorn. And sextile means that the planets are 60 degrees away from each other in the sky, and it's a harmonious relationship. So when the new moon in Scorpio is harmonious with Pluto and Jupiter being in the sign of Capricorn, Jupiter is the planet of expansion and abundance, prosperity and luck and good fortune. And when it rests in the sign of Capricorn, it's a reminder that everything that is ours, that we dream of, is right there for the taking. And there's an abundance of success and wealth and prosperity and time all around us. We just need to raise our vibration to grab it. This energy asks us not to sell ourselves short. And Scorpio, this relationship of trusting our intuition to lead us to that purpose, to lead us to what our intuition is asking us to do, that we already know the answers. And when we hear the whispers of our answers, to not doubt that this is what we're worthy of. The other planet of Pluto being in Capricorn, Pluto is this planet that represents cycles and rebirth. It's like when we picture a spiral, sometimes it seems like we're going backwards, but we're actually moving forward. And this is the cyclical nature of life. Everything comes in seasons. And so Pluto allows us this invitation to see that even if it feels like we're going backwards, we're actually making progress. We're moving forward in space and time and in our spiritual growth. And Pluto in Capricorn is recognizing that these cycles of transformation can be painful, can be difficult, the Scorpio energy of witnessing the shadows, but there's also this joy that comes from seeing the close of a cycle. And Pluto in Capricorn teaches us that Capricorn is structure, and Pluto reminds us that things are in cycles. So if the structure of our world is irritating us, maybe it's the structure of politics or structure of our jobs or structures of our relationships. These things are fluid. They're not actually fixed like Capricorn may trick us into believing. Scorpio energy is fluid, it's water. Pluto is cyclical, and it's teaching us that each cycle things come to an end. And so just like when we feel joy and harmony, those things can come to an end. But the flip side is true when we're suffering and in pain and nothing seems to go right and the structures of our lives are just seeming like they're holding us back from our growth. Well, guess what? That view is gonna end too. And this is what I love about this season is the death, the transformation. It feels like grief, but it simultaneously is a new beginning. Thank you for witnessing me. Thank you for sharing space. Happy new moon in Scorpio.